Hi there. My name is Mitch with the Fresh Support team, and today we're going to walk through the installation and configuration of the WebSmart tool. Now, if you haven't already, you'll need to retrieve the installs from our customer portal here. As you can see on the home page, we have current downloads. Go ahead and click that. And here we're going to find the version of WebSmart that you have entitlements for through our support team. So here we see a list of executables and our upgrade guide as well as the user guide for the tool. But if we notice at the top of the page here, we'll see that this is a required knowledge base article that we get you to work through before we go through the installation. So during installation, WebSmart will automatically detect the current version of PHP installed on your system. If in the future you are interested in WebSmart and do not have it currently installed on your IBMI, do not continue on with this installation until PHP has been installed. There is information within this knowledge base article to determine whether you currently have it installed, and if not, provide some options that are accessible through the IBMI page. So let's go back to the downloads here, and there's going to be we'll download two portions here. So the first one being the IDE installer, the PC component, as well as the IBMI installer. So I'm going to select both of these. It should automatically start downloading. See them in the background here. Now this may take a second, so I'll just hit pause, and once those have downloaded, we will continue on. All right, so we've got the IBMI server component downloaded now. We'll let the other one go in the background. And so this is going to take us through a wizard installation. You may see it pop up. You would allow the app changes, and it's over for you. We're going to go ahead and hit agree, and we should see the wizard pop up here. And so we just need three things. So it's going to be the IP address or alias of the system that you're looking to run the install on. Here, I'm actually going to take my own personal user ID and password. And we're just going to hit enter. And this is going to upload some files to the server, at which point we will continue on. All right, so I've jumped ahead a little bit, and you may need to pause the video to catch up here, but we see that the file upload has now been complete, and it's automatically moved us to this next step within the wizard. So we're going to go ahead and run the install. You'll see at the top here, we have our install library is XL WebLib by default. You can change that if you like it, but that's typically what we recommend. All right, so we'll see that I received a notification here that since we already have this on our test system that I'm working on, we're going to need to create a backup library and demo backup library here. So this is your first time doing the install. Obviously, we won't need to do this step. Once the installation has completed, you'll see this next window pop up here. It may take a second to connect to the system. And what we're going to do is enter the license key provided by our team to you. We'll go ahead and hit submit. Once the license key is entered correctly, we should see a successful message, and we can close out that previous license key window. And then we can go ahead and close out our install wizard here as well. Now we're going to want to navigate to a IBMI interface here, and what we're going to do is run a work active job, and we're just going to take a look at some of the things that have now been installed. We see here Exodus 55 is a subsystem that helps communicate between the IDE and the IBMI. That's up and running, and the license server handles licensing as well. Now, the key here is that we want to ensure within the QHTTP server subsystem that our WebSmart server has been started. As we can see here, it has not. We do have some other jobs. But what we're going to do is we're now going to start the TCP server for WebSmart. So we have the start TCP server command. We can prompt F4 here, and we'll take a star HTTP as the first parameter, and the server instance is going to be WebSmart. You now see that the WebSmart jobs have fired up underneath QHTTP server. So we should be good up and running. And in order to test that, we're actually going to navigate to a browser here and just run a test configuration program we ship with the tool. So you'll see the pathing here is your IP address or alias, port 8150, that's the default for WebSmart. And then the web apps directory and test cfg.pgm. And you see here we have a successful installation of the server-side components. With that, we're going to navigate over to the PC component of WebSmart. Just like the server side, we're going to have an installer here. It's going to help us walk through. You can agree. You can keep the defaults here. See the ESDI WebSmart. I'll go ahead and run that install now. And I will let this run in the background and hop back on. All right, now that that has completed, you should be able to fire this up now. Just launch WebSmart. And upon a new installation, WebSmart is going to automatically prompt you to configure the IBMI server details. And here we have some information already filled in. The name being whatever we would like to call that. So I'm just going to demo for mine. XL WebLib was the library name that we configured during the wizard connection there. And the IP address is going to be the alias or the IP of our box. Now we have some object defaults that are used with WebSmart ILE programs. These will be taken as default for all of your program generations. They can be overwritten later on as well. And in the bottom here, if we actually just click into the field, we'll see it auto-populate with the port and IP address. So we'll go ahead and test our connection here. And you'll be prompted for a user and pass. And we see we have a successful demo connection to my demo box. Perfect. So we'll go ahead and hit OK to save that. So now we should have a fresh instance of WebSmart. And what we did is we just configured the connection to the IBMI. Now, if we're working with WebSmart PHP, we actually need to navigate to Tools and Options. And every PHP program needs a FTP connection in order to be generated. So again, we're going to give this a name. I'm going to use demo for mine. The FTP address is going to be your alias or IP address. And the initial directory is what will be displayed and used as your default directory within WebSmart. And so with our installation, we are going to pass the www directory to WebSmart to htdocs and wsphp as our directory here. Now the web path will be used to launch all of our programs within the browser. And again, by default here, I'm going to copy that in from the user guide. By default, we're going to do http:// and we're going to itest6, it's my box, 8150 as the port, and WebSmart PHP. Now, mirror path is used for SVN, and we won't go through that in this video. What we will do is pass our credentials, and we're going to test our connection here. I'm up and running now with WebSmart ILE or WebSmart PHP. And at this point, you can start using the tool, getting familiar with the demo files that we provide to you, and of course, asking any questions to our support team, support@freshsolutions.com, and we'd be happy to help.